Those of you that watch our videos regularly will know that we quite often cover cameras and bits of gear that don't get the attention they deserve elsewhere. Perhaps it doesn't have the right badge on it, or maybe they're not used by the coolest YouTube creators out there. So when Olympus got in touch and offered for us to test out the video capabilities of their latest Micro Four Thirds camera, we were obviously like, hello? Sorry, who's this? Olympus? No, I've never heard of you. I think you've probably got the wrong number. Alright. Play the other clip. Yeah, the one that actually makes me look good. The OM-D EM-1 Mark III, yes, that is a mouthful, is the latest miniaturized Micro Four Thirds body to be released from Olympus. Featuring a 20.4 megapixel 4/3 live MOS sensor and TruePix 9 processor, it is capable of recording cinema 4K at up to 30 frames per second. Impressively, it features a solid hybrid autofocus system and a vlogger's dream image stabilization system offering up to 7.5 stops of stabilizing. The body itself is incredibly palm-sized, standing at just 90mm tall. Yet this miniature size hasn't stopped Olympus from cramming in all the focus, exposure and setting controls and buttons that you could ever hope for. This includes the brilliant, fully articulating front-facing touchscreen and 2 SD card slots, one of which is UHS 2 compliant. The latter is obviously really important for recording cinema 4K, where your bit rates in this camera will likely top over 105 megabits per second. So on paper there is a lot to like about the EM-1 Mark III, but enough of the specs, let's just get to using it and seeing the good bits of this vlog-friendly Micro Four Thirds body. For a small mirrorless Micro Four Thirds camera, the EM-1 Mark III feels really premium in hand. It has a weighty reassurance about it. The integral hand grip and well-placed control dials and buttons on the rear make using this camera really nice. There's practically no learning curve to it at all, and I found it really easy to get up and running with straight away. The image stabilization is a feature for me that is one of the most important for a vlog-friendly camera, and this is where the EM-1 Mark III really shines. Offering several different image stabilization modes, you can get up to a total of 7.5 stops of stabilization. It's probably some of the best you'll see, especially in this form factor. It almost feels unnatural to use, it's that good at smoothing out your footage and removing those micro jitters associated with handheld video shooting. In all honesty, this great image stabilization combined with that front-facing touchscreen are features alone that make this a great choice for any vloggers out there. What I do like about the EM-1 Mark III is that it feels like Olympus have actually just paid attention to the video features on this camera. They've shown some love to us video shooters. The menu is filled with creative options for the video shooter, including a fair amount of codec, profile and compression options. In line with this, you do have the option of shooting in the flat OM-Log 400 profile for greater versatility in post-production. Olympus have even included the ability to preview this log footage in a 709 equivalence to make shot assessment even easier when filming in that log profile. The slow motion options are solid too, with up to 120 FPS available for those that are after that Peter McKinnon style treacly B-roll. It's not something I ever particularly look for, but I'm happy to acknowledge that it's a very popular look and one that Olympus have catered for in this camera. Also, key practical features like the ever-enduring battery life that this camera has and the responsive and snappy autofocus make filming with the EM-1 Mark III a genuine pleasure, even for the solo shooter. But enough of the good bits, let's dig a little deeper and see some of the bad points of the EM-1 Mark III. As with all our videos, whenever I'm looking at the positives or negatives of a camera, I do so with its price point and intended audience in mind, and in that context, we do have to look at the price point of this camera. In of itself, the pricing of the OMD EM-1 Mark III isn't that crazy, coming in at around £1,600. For that, you're getting an incredibly well built and rugged 4K video companion. However, for the same budget, you could pick up a GH5 with a lens. Admittedly, that is an older camera, a much older camera now, but it still is the high watermark of cameras when it comes to video in the Micro Four Thirds format. For sure, the EM-1 Mark III isn't paled by comparison to the GH5. There is a lot that this camera has to offer. It just doesn't quite reach the high watermark that Panasonic have set. It's also a shame that the dual SD card slots featured weren't both made to be UHS 2 compliant. This in itself isn't a deal breaker for me, but is an obvious shortcoming that jumped out when using this camera. The hardest part about this job is to see past the excitement of new gear and to give concise opinions in a short space of time about the thing I'm using. And perhaps I am still in that honeymoon period with the EM-1 Mark III, but there is something I genuinely love about this camera. The combination of great ergonomics and that awesome image stabilization system and general usability for video make it in many ways a perfect choice for vloggers and casual video creators. Also, and this one is just for me, the Micro Four Thirds mounts and my recent obsession with adapting vintage lenses make this body a great companion for anyone looking at using some vintage glass for their videos. Anyway, enough of the vintage lens thing, that really is time for a whole different video. If you are curious, we did shoot this entire review on the EM-1 Mark III to give you a proper idea of what it's like to use. And for some more information on this camera, there is some links below. And whilst you're down there, why not consider subscribing to our channel? That's been my grab and go review of the EM-1 Mark III. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.